Right, we are live.
Hello, I am Otto Dassing, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 330. Tonight, I am joined by Jared Schneiderman.
Hey, guys.
Nick Pacone. And Kelly Diamond.
Hey.
So, it was just brought to my attention that Jared Schneiderman is, in fact, the...
Jewish, yes.
Well,
sure.
that... But he's also Hanukkah Grinch.
Yes. We need another name for that, though, right? Or is that just like a Rothschild or something?
Old Hanukkah.
No, but this is disappointing because I wanted to wish you a happy Hanukkah, and you're just like, whatever, dude.
You can still wish it.
I hope you do. I hope you have a good Hanukkah, even though you said you hate Hanukkah and you don't like Jewish people and all this.
He said
only one of those is true.
Something about wanting to burn down all your lights. I don't know.
So cool. Well, now that we got that out of the way, so what's going on? How was you guys' weeks, man?
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I'm trying to draw myself away from Facebook. That's what my day is. I just sit and think, man, how much better would life be if I wasn't ever here? I'm like rarely there now, but I'm like, I'd like to never be here. But everybody wants to go to MeWe, and I'm like, I don't really want to go to MeWe.
MeWe's not fun.
Just don't go anywhere, dude.
Well,
that's what I've done.
% online life, and I don't like people. It would make I'd have no human interaction whatsoever.
Yeah, well,
that would be problematic.
Yeah, I'm preferring more for my online interactions. I'm preferring like Discord or WhatsApp chat, or not WhatsApp, but Signal chats.
You just need to get to Keybase and leave the bullshit
Keybase
behind.
or whatever. Yeah, I mean, but stuff where you're actually like real time. Yeah, freebasing. Booting black tar heroin, that sort of thing.
Fuck yeah,
we're all about here.
No,
that's why I'm here.
No sleepy time drugs. God.
Uppers only.
No, psychedelics.
Psychedelics, yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, dude. I don't need my heart exploding. I work on making these arteries do that on their own. No, don't need any help.
They're already working overtime.
This is true. Same here.
Oh man.
But yeah, dude, other than that, it's just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen at any of the things that are going to happen. Because it feels like things are spinning out of control a lot of the time.
Sure does.
Just try and keep control with little ways you can.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it feels different here than it does other places. Your guys' place sucks pretty bad. Ours is not great.
Yeah, ours is pretty trash. It's pretty trash. Kelly, how is it up near you? Whereabouts?
I moved to Arizona. So
okay.
As an economic refugee, I fled California and I landed in Phoenix. So that's why I've been able to.
Is that any better?
It is. The bar's so low, right? I mean, California is like it's just gotten so bad. It's you can't. There's still lockdown orders. Like there's people who can't even go back to work. There, you can't go shopping. I mean, you can't run your basic errands, and everything is so. I mean, it's so much more heightened there than it is here. Like, I can go into certain stores here, and they don't care. They, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Nobody's gonna say anything. Just get your shit and get out, and pretty much it. But you go into like California stores, it's not like that. Everybody's kind of like, they hear you clear your throat, and it's like,
Yep.
Who dat? Get the fuck out of here, and so. And then, like, I know that they've been doing so much to drive their economy into the hole that, like, taxes are going to go up eventually, right? So, like, and one of the lowest taxes they have is property taxes. It's one of the few taxes that aren't onerous like the others. And I know that's the one they're going to come for. They're like, okay, we're going to repeal the one thing that kind of, the one amendment or one measure that holds your property taxes down. We're going to repeal that because we gotta make our money back. We lost all this revenue keeping you guys from working. So,
And on top of that, you've got a lot of these big companies that are exiting and moving to Texas.
I'm not the worst of it, right? I'm not the worst of it, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's like they're like Kelly, whatever. But then there goes,
Millions
Tesla.
and millions of dollars of tax
Yeah.
revenue. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, what are they going to do? Because isn't there a thing on the books now where half of California is like trying to secede again, and like the paperwork's been filed?
I hear
I
that
didn't-
from time to
I
time,
didn't-
and I really don't buy into it.
Yeah. Who's filing this?
Well, it's after the whole like Trump lawsuit deal. I think when they failed to see it, you had a bunch of the states come forward and say we are not represented by our state, and now we want out. I think Nevada was on one of them. California had a secessionist movement. Like, there's secessionist movements all over the United States right now. That's what the moral of the story is, because when they refused to hear out the legal idea that we're not like you're screwing with the election system. We don't feel like the election system works, and we don't have to be a part of this if we don't feel the election system works. So
yeah, there's definitely a recall Newsom movement out there right now. Like, and I think that's gaining more momentum than anything. Just people are done with that governor. I mean,
I've heard even the left is pretty like over Newsom at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he lost a lot of moderates and a lot of people who were like left leaning. That they would have preferred to have a Democrat in the seat, but not that one. And I think that you lose that group, and it's like now you're just leaning on what San Francisco and Los Angeles liberals to like pull this whole thing through for you. It's I don't know,
the ones that already left.
Right, exactly. Well, all the people who are making money are leaving, so it's like you're gonna have like the broke ass liberal sitting there and saying, well, in hordes waiting for their UBI checks to come from where,
Right.
The ports, I mean, that's all you got left is saltwater and ports. So I don't know.
You guys make a lot of saltwater taffy out there. I like taffy. It's about the only thing saltwater is good for.
I don't know if there's going to be, I don't know if that's going to really hold.
That's what
economy,
That's all
California
coming
economy
from. That's
is
coming from
gonna be
Maine,
built
dude.
on.
They're gonna start
It's a
using
Maine property.
Maine.
Saltwater.
Maine's got the monopoly on that shit.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
They're gonna start using it as currency because it's worth more than the money.
Right?
You can start printing the currency on saltwater taffy, and at least it has some use case.
It's pretty useless other than currency at this point.
But speaking of secession, there was a letter from I think it was the leader of the Texas GOP.
Yeah, Mr. Allen West.
Mr. Allen West. Wow.
Yes, the Mr. Allen. I don't know. I don't know.
But do you have that up? Do you have that up?
I got it. Yeah, I got it right here.
Alan West, like the general? Like, isn't he like a general or something? Like
He was a former general. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Same one. Okay.
It's the same guy. It's the same guy you're thinking
It's
of.
not just
Glasses.
yeah. I mean, he's actually got some. In the status world, he's got some cred.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So go ahead, read that, Phil.
All right. Well, the main crutch of this is he's bitching about all the Supreme Court tossing out the Texas lawsuit against those 17 states. And so the main crux of what everyone's focusing on is he says, perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. So pretty much, decentralization, secession, whatever you want to call it, is what he's calling for. And of course, that just strikes a nerve, in a good way, for all the people in the liberty movement. They're like, like Tim Allen, full time.
But I mean, how much of this is, just
all
waving your
talk.
dick around, and how much of it is like who's going to actually line up with guns on the Texas border and, start kicking out the feds?
I had some strong feelings about this because everyone keeps talking about secession. We need to, be a separate nation. We should get divorced, irreconcilable differences, blah, blah, blah. You hear it all.
Yeah.
But it just seems so impossible because one of my friends on Facebook posted a picture, and it was a picture of every county was highlighted red and blue, depending on who voted for Biden or Trump. And clearly he says there are no red states or blue states because you look at it, they're mostly just all red counties and then just a few blue states. In almost every single state except for Hawaii and Vermont, every single state is mostly red counties with a few blue blue dots are, and they're all pretty much where cities are, the major metropolitan areas, which makes it essentially impossible for you to form any type of secession movement. Maybe California, maybe.
That's not impossible.
California would have to break itself up, right?
Yeah,
California would have to break itself up first before it went and joined another union or something.
So here's actually the real problem with this is the way they're going to try and do any of this is through voting. I believe in California, they actually voted to break up into multiple states a few years ago. Like it was made it as a ballot initiative, I believe. Wow. And then it won. And the government said, yeah, but we don't have to listen to this because it wasn't done properly. So, whatever.
Right.
So people vote for it and they still don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you're gonna have anything happen with regards to that is just actual action on the ground, right? I mean, you're going to have to start rejecting, if the feds say, okay, well, you know what, marijuana is illegal here, and you say, actually, no, we're gonna grow and sell marijuana, and there's nothing you can do about it, which some states kind of already do, but it's going to have to happen on many different levels, right? Especially like with all this lockdown stuff. You're probably going to see that happen more where if, Biden tries to institute a national lockdown, as everyone's afraid he's going to do, you're going to see a bunch of states rising up and saying, yeah, no, we're not going to enforce this. So what are you going to do? Send in the National Guard, send in the FBI?
I hate to break it to you. The National Guard's already there.
Yeah, but isn't the National Guard report to the states, the state government?
Yeah, they're
not anymore.
They're state military, no?
I mean,
they report wherever they're told to go, and
it's still not enough to really enforce anything. I mean, and then people are going to stop signing up for the National Guard. I mean,
they don't have to enforce anything. They said,
but how are they going to get their free shit?
They're going to have to shoot a few people, and then people stand down.
That's the problem, though, is that each state receives a considerable stipend from the federal government in one form or another.
Right.
And Texas doesn't receive chump change that gets shaken out of the couch. They get quite a considerable amount of federal funding that is, and in every state it's tethered to something, right? Like in California, it might be infrastructure and education. And in Texas, it's going to be another, obviously not education, being 49th, but maybe something else, but it is tethered to something and they rely on it. And money being fungible, the federal funding pays for one thing, and then they can take all their state funds and do their little state project shit and whatever. That's a ball of yarn that cannot be unwound through a vote.
It's all by design.
It is, and I think the feds know it. The feds know it, and they know that it's like, okay, fine. Go. Why don't you fast on our funding for a year and let us know how it goes? And if it still works out for you, then yeah, go ahead. Try and pass a ballot.
Well, that's how welfare works, right?
Right, exactly. And it's a trap. It is a welfare trap, like anything else, where people get so used to having the funding that there's any talk.
Well, they sign up for all these big, huge projects that are contingent on getting this funding, and then if that dries up, well, they're fucked.
Right, and they're counting on paying it off.
Right, and they're paying it off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah.
And every single state has an interstate that goes through a federal interstate.
Right.
So there it is. Like it's like I said, it's all by design.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, You
can go back to federalism. You could go back to federalism, still have a United States,
right,
and basically have states that just back out of federal control, right? So you don't have to have separate countries. You just have to go back to federalism and reclaim the state and say, okay, the feds are in charge of interstate commerce, and interstate commerce is, and if you go back to the Constitution, having an interstate highway is no big deal. It's postal roads. It's back, that's constitutionally supported.
How do you envision that working out?
Probably, I mean, if you were to hit the reset button, you'd end up here in 244 years. I mean, I think that's pretty clear.
Well, no, my point is, the feds would never give up control to that. Like, that's never going to happen.
Right.
Control.
I mean,
the power's there. They're not going to give it up. So you either force them out and fight them away, or
you either force them out or you make them irrelevant, right? So if the state level, if the states are so adamant against having having feds take over their jurisdictions, then states have to start turning down federal funding. They do. That's the first step. It really is. It's like, I mean, and that's not, I mean, I think that's the problem, is that Texas has been flexing its nuts about secession since at least what's his name, Kerry, what's his name, who was the one before Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott? There was the guy before, he ran.
You're talking Texas politics?
No, I'm just asking who the governor was, because the governor before this one was asking.
Couldn't tell you who my own governor is.
George Bush
was calling for secession as well. So I mean, but he didn't do anything about it. And a lot of
exactly, they never do. It's all talk, and of course, it's like, wow, that would be great. But I think logistically, you would have riots breaking out in Austin and, in Dallas and all these other left of center places. It would be, this is a right wing conspiracy, and they're going to send us to camps, and they're going to send us, and they're going to institute slavery. Everyone's a neo-Confederate, especially because you're hearing this come from southern states mostly. Right. They just think like, oh, you just want to be have slaves again, and you're going to. It's that same old tired bullshit arguments that you're just going to hear left and right. I just think it's never. I mean, clearly it's never going to happen. But I think like even the talk people are like, yeah, maybe we should. Oh my gosh, yeah, like there's finally momentum. Like there's no momentum, dude.
Well, you're pretending. While you say it's just talk, let's remember it is sexy talk. That's what I want whispered in my ears.
This is true. Like when my wife tells me how.
I mean, it's rhetoric. It's good rhetoric.
I know it's not true, but I like hearing it.
Oh, You're so big, Daddy. You're a monster of a man.
And she's just talking about my stomach. So,
yeah, it's what it is. Take what you can get.
Exactly. So I'll take this talk of secession and run with it, I guess.
It's nice.
It is nice.
But it's nice.
It is nice. You get a few headlines.
The one thing I will give that is different in this than it's ever been, because what you say, they float it all the time. The left is like, there's a large contingent of the left that has always been, that's terrible of an idea. And the only people I hear saying that now are like the academic left, the cathedral, as they would put it. Most of the leftists I know in my day-to-day lives are far more open to the idea of secession than they've ever been before. Because secession has always been my favorite internet game to play, where I just wander into whatever internet question somebody's asking in any chat.
Well, I mean, if there's
just go secession is the only thing. just type secession and leave.
Well, I mean, if you look at the autonomous zone or whatever, I mean, that is a form of very rudimentary secession, right?
Yeah.
So if they are supportive of that, well, they are supportive of some form of secession.
Yeah.
But they would never call it that, though.
Yeah,
they probably
they're
wouldn't.
part of secession until there's a fire. And then, then they're just like, holy shit, 911.
Until someone needs medical attention.
Yeah, and until somebody takes their iPad, then it's like,
oh no. Yeah, well,
and all those kids need to just go enjoy and start a freedom cell, bro. Just do that.
Freedom cell, baby.
Just start a freedom cell and find your way out. At least find people who at least will back you up, and then continue growing that. Who knows? Maybe eventually we will all make the state obsolete. Like that's the only way secession possibly can work.
Yeah,
is just eventually our own mutual aid networks get to be so developed that they have no grounding to do anything.
Like Guy Fieri doing more for unemployed, restaurateurs than Congress, and raising $21.5 million, to help, out of work waiters. Like he did more than Congress did, and he did it voluntarily. And it's like, you see stories like that. I think it needs to be hyped up as, hey, look what we can do better than you and faster,
But the problem is that gets spun as like, wow, look how bad our government is. We need a better government. Yeah. Like when I hear about how there's always, you see that story going around that it's like
GoFundMe.
Yeah. GoFundMe has like covers one third of the GoFundMes are medical, medical bill stuff. And it's like,
it's the fifth largest insurer in America.
It's the fifth largest insurer. And people are like, oh, this is so horrible. This is so horrible. And it's like, well, I mean, it's horrible that medical stuff is so overpriced.
Right.
on account of government and intervention, all kinds of stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, the fact that you can raise money for a medical bill through
Yeah.
voluntary means, if you absolutely have to, I mean, I don't see, that sounds
Well,
awesome.
I actually had a conversation specifically about the medical industry stuff with a masseuse friend of mine today. I was walking him through, like, it's like, dude, the whole idea of insurance is like you're paying for whatever you're getting plus 38 other people in the middle of that.
Right.
There's no way for
Bureaucracy.
that to be cheaper than buying the product outright. Like, just that
Right.
can't possibly be the case.
Well, that was the issue with the ACA, was that they were pissed that uber wealthy people didn't have insurance. But I'm like, who the fuck needs insurance when you're a fucking billionaire? Like, who needs that? Like, I just buy it, like if I needed a heart transplant, I just go buy the goddamn thing. I don't need to file a claim.
And
And I
just
don't
for the
need to
record,
pay
if you've ever
insurance.
paid cash prices,
They're cheaper.
much.
I'm telling you, human hearts are so cheap. I'm telling you, I bought a few. Perfect investment.
I keep mine in the freezer.
The adrenochrome
Those got an
closer
extra
to the
big
heart
one.
is superb. Okay?
Adrenochrome.
It's superb. All right, I'm just letting you guys know.
Okay.
But
Are
I
there
just think you guys are
places I
just
need to be aware
bigots.
of?
No, I was just saying I think you guys are bigots because we need universal health care. That's all this means to me. Universal health care for all.
I'm just
Universal
saying my
basic
black
income.
child doesn't need any of your health care.
Yes, she does. We
Does
need to
not.
help the black children because they're
I am.
They're
I am.
not
I'm doing the nitty gritty of helping a black child by giving her money outright and paying for a place to sleep. And brought her mama in too. I'm raising two of them. Let's do it that way.
right. No, but it's such bullshit because you see those articles that come up about GoFundMe and how it should be something we should be celebrating, the generosity of people, and how pretty much streamlined we've made the process of charity through innovations from the internet and such. But instead, it turned into a leftist rally call. Like, this is so sad. Like, this is just a sad state of the world where we have to beg people for life-saving procedures.
Here's the thing that's really funny about this. Okay. I in Cleveland, we're progressive. Like, this is where progressive is from. It's a huge company, employs thousands and thousands of people,
including Flo.
I don't know how big GoFundMe is, but I don't think it's as big as progressive, and I really doubt it brings in as much money as progressive. So the thing that they're ignoring about that whole meme is that apparently a small startup on the internet can raise funds just as efficiently for medical bills as an entire giant bureaucracy that's swallowing up most of its money to itself. What we should be asking is, why do we not have 10 more GoFundMes and no insurance companies?
Right.
Like, just on its face.
But even without a GoFundMe, there's still like fraternities. Right now they're all religious. A lot of them are religious based. But you take out the religious piece of it, you can still have that kind of fraternity where it's like you are part of a cooperative that helps each other out. And
fraternities aren't all that they're cracked up to be. Well, here's the problem: is that universities have been trying to get rid of them for 2 decades.
Like Lambda.
I was president of a chapter of Talk
Kappa.
No one got all right, cool. Never mind. Yeah. Revenge of the Nerd reference. Continue.
No, I get it.
Just wasn't funny. Got it.
Well, there's
we
a
were
difference
basically
between
the lambdas of my campus.
There's a difference between college fraternities and there's
general social orders.
Yeah. There's there's one around here called like the Lions, and they do.
Oh yeah.
That's a national organization.
Huh?
That's a national.
It says it on the sign, Jared. Kiwanan's International Lions.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Whatever. But they're, but no, going back to what you were saying though, it used to be back in the day, and I think I learned this from that documentary that's Monopoly on Violence documentary. But they were talking about how back in the day you used to have you'd have a fraternity, and then you'd have a doctor that was assigned or paid for by that fraternity, right? And doctors would vie for that position because it was just guaranteed patients. But then they outlawed that through some fucking red tape bullshit. And so now you can have that.
Specifically what I was getting at was the fact, so as a president of a fraternity, they tried everything they could to get fraternities like disavowed from the university, like regular Greek.
Well, there's a lot of fraternities that have kind of gone gone off the rails.
It's not even anything to do with that. It's from within the university system itself. They don't want any kind of exclusive organization, frankly.
Yeah, well,
they just don't want
nowadays,
that.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, how many people are signing up for the Fraternal Order of Eagles or the Kiwanis these days? The young generations aren't doing that. Those organizations are going away because they've been taught you go to daddy government. You don't go and find your people. You don't go and organize your people.
Unless it's Skull and Bones.
Well, but that's another matter entirely.
I'm a gorilla.
The elites don't do anything that we do.
Right. They have their own rules.
Different rules.
Do as I
They have
say,
their own
not
rules,
as I
their
do.
own indoor dinners.
With
They're
small
allowed to do what they
children.
want.
Indoor outdoor dinners, right? Like they're like outdoors, but it's a tent and it's indoors. So it's outdoors, indoors.
Yeah.
We just created a new inside, but only outside. It is
It's a new
compliant.
inside.
COVID will be too confused to know what to do about that. And you're safe.
But
Oh,
yeah,
so has
Go
anybody been seeing the graph going around online of the
About?
the 2020 death graph?
Oh yeah. So the death rate is actually lower this time of year than was last year.
Oh no, for the entire year it's lower.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the expected deaths have like plummeted.
Right.
But I've been told since day one that no, the excess deaths are way higher this year than they ever were. I'm like, well, but that's not what any of the data has said.
Right.
Well, I think it depends
I
on the. I think it depends on the location though, because New York, I was looking at a chart. It was definitely a lot higher. It was like almost to like 9/11 levels back in. I think it was like back in March or April.
Well, of course it is. You had your governor.
Oh no!
Fine.
Oh no!
He got
Oh,
zucked.
You got back.
He said the
What
word
happened?
governor, and then that was it.
But I'm a
You'll not listen.
rest in peace, Nicholas Pacone.
Poor guy.
God, what if there was like just an atom
Poor
bomb that
guy.
dropped in Cleveland, and you're just like, oh my God, we're just joking about it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get phone calls from your relatives in Ohio, like, oh my God.
But dude, would we have seen it get like real?
cutting wires and shit, like people laughing.
Oh man. Yeah,
Well-
for those listening, like his audio or Nick's audio and video he just dropped off the Zoom meeting, so we're not sure
Yeah.
what happened. But
He was like, fuck your punk rock libertarians.
he was like,
y'all suck.
yeah,
I want my smooth jazz libertarian.
This is I need my
Smooth
yacht
jazz
rock
libertarians.
libertarians.
Dude, we need an alter ego podcast called Smooth Jazz Libertarians. That's great. That's
Hot
actually good. That's a
AC
good title for this
libertarian.
episode.
Dude, well, to go off what shit now? The whole segment.
Well, no,
segment's
I was
been
just
derailed.
pointing out. I was just pointing out that.
Oh,
like,
excess deaths. That's right. No. But the main excuse you hear from that is, well, of course there's less deaths because people are staying inside and they're not getting
Right, it's
all
working.
this. Yeah,
It's
they're all not. You're right. Yeah, they're not working. They're staying inside, so they're not getting in car accidents, and they're not being involved in like.
I mean, there are
accidental
like
deaths.
There are like 60,000 or something car deaths a year, right? Something like that.
Right.
But there's
I
no
mean-
flu deaths or anything. Like people aren't dying from shit.
The
other
flu
than
is gone.
flu
okay.
has been cured by COVID, which is if we're gonna look at some silver linings today. That's
Yeah.
a good.
Ah,
Hey,
he's back.
We're getting too real, apparently.
Nick, you didn't die in an atom bomb explosion. Thank
That's
God.
what I thought.
yeah, it's a generator. It's fine.
No, they're just coming after the internet. Listen. Gotta get yourself some male vitality.
I am a gorilla. Oh God, that was hilarious.
Now listen. I'm only gonna tell you this once. 1776, we'll rise again. You take that to the bank.
Take that to the bank and get what?
And get $17.76.
Right. Take it to the Federal Reserve.
What did I miss there?
Oh, nothing.
Well, we were just
no one
talking
was-
about what happened to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
were
it.
speculating on how you might have vanished.
Well, there was no
Rambling
black.
about nothing.
There was
thought
no
maybe
black
it-
hood this time,
Yeah, we thought maybe it was the rapture, and we all got left behind.
which is the best episode of American Dad ever, by the way.
Oh man,
Technically, it's 2 episodes.
I'm not remembering that one.
He's fucking her fucking his wife at church because they get there too late that they can't get and while they're in there they aren't raptured. It's a two-parter, and like he ends up becoming Jesus's right-hand man and a mercenary in the war against Satan.
My dream job.
It's pretty awesome.
Life goals.
Life goals. Wow, I'm
It's my
completely
biggest
healed
goal.
from earlier. Look
Will
at that.
only ascend to that level.
Well, Jared's having the immaculate healing.
Yeah, I just had a wound in my hand healed, dude. I'm
because
clearly...
Jared is a cutter. He revealed that to us before the show. So he is indeed a cutter. He even shows the knife.
An accidental cutter.
Whoa.
Accidental cutter.
Nick is doing his best.
That's a good emo band name, Accidental Cutter.
It actually probably is an emo band.
Probably, dude.
I wrote a song about a cutter once.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was probably the most aggressive lyrics I've ever wrote in a song ever. I think she deserved them, though.
Ooh.
Ooch.
Wow.
Ouch.
Either that or, deserve to be put out of her misery. I don't know. Could be either or.
One or the
Could
other.
have hit an artery with that cut.
I was kind of worried. I was like, it started really coming out of my hand, dude.
Oh yeah. Where
I was like, did I hit like a vein or something? Huh?
Where did you cut it?
Like, it was like just like on my thumb, like right there.
Oh, you're fine. Your fingertips just bleed a lot. That's all.
It wasn't my fingertip. It was like right above where the thumb attaches to the hand. But anyways,
I hate hand cuts, man. It like freaks me out. I feel it. I feel like the pain.
Well,
it actually wasn't painful at all.
I got radial saw scars,
but I'm not a
on
bitch.
This hand.
You got saw what?
I got radial saw scars on this hand.
Oh.
Ooh.
I was working, and then like the piece of wood I was working on caught a staple I didn't see inside the wood, and then whipped my hand through it, and it was a rough afternoon. I had to walk into the bar that I was working at and say, "Hey, any one of you drunks want to drive me to the hospital?
Can you at least get some of that shit on my hand and sterilize it?"
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
You got a room full of
It ended up healing up pretty good. Like I got scars, but it was pretty intense to look at for a couple days.
Yeah. No, my worst hand cut. I was pulling a knife out of the dishwasher and it got caught, and I just was like pulling as hard as I could, and it was.
Oh, and you got the hot too. Ooh.
It just pulled up and it got caught, and it just ripped right in between my thumb and my index finger, just straight down, and it was like it was really deep and it bled out. So I didn't feel like going to the doctor or anything.
That one's hard to keep closed up too.
Right. So I had to tape my thumb to my index finger, and I did that for a few days, and it healed up great. But then I was walking my dog, and my dog just went. It was a few days later, just went off I was holding the leash, and it ripped right back open.
Yeah, I got
awful.
stabbed by a coworker in the web of this hand.
Jesus.
Yeah, the webs are the bad part, dude. That's how they torture people, man.
Stabbed me with a what do you call it, like a box cutter.
Damn, dude.
Well, you probably had it coming.
I mean, it's a safe assumption. I don't know, like not at that exact moment, but probably something I did.
All right, so back to.
I was going to ask Kelly about how many times she was impaled.
No, I'm not an accidental cutter myself. I try to avoid shit like that.
It's a good call.
It's a thing I have. I don't know.
Like nerve damage sucks. Like when I stabbed myself in my leg, that was painful.
Jesus.
So lesson learned tonight: Nick is full of knife wounds.
Oh no, I'm terrible with like that. Like I've never broken anything, but I've stabbed and cut the shit out of myself over the years.
Wait, has anyone here broken a bone?
No.
Nope.
I tore a tendon partway through in college.
That's muscle though, right?
That's what I'm saying. I never broke anything. It's partial tear in my Achilles.
Yeah, no, I've never broken a bone.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Well, now that's settled.
One thing. So, speaking of breaking,
I think it's a myth. You can't break bones.
Bones aren't real.
Right there with birds. There with birds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Are the bones in the room with us now?
Well, so
let me know if you see a black bag showing up.
What's that, Phil?
So Facebook is being told by the government they faced a lawsuit. And I think I don't have the
faced a lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was
Nice.
a horrible turn of phrase. Anyway, Facebook has to break up, according to the federal government. They are monopolistic in their ways, and so they have to sell off WhatsApp and Instagram.
Yeah.
So, how does it like? Okay, so I immediately like. I love the fact that Facebook is being kind of under fire.
Yeah.
Look, the government wants it, so it's bad. That's all I can tell you.
That's a James Bad metric of if something's good or not.
Right. I don't want the government coming and stepping in. Yeah.
If anything government related wants it, it's bad.
Right.
You just can't 3D game it out yourself yet. You don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But whatever they're thinking, it's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. That's fair.
I mean, is it going to happen like when they told Microsoft to break up and it took like half a decade, and by the time they did, like nobody used it anyways?
Right. Well, if there's restrictions on how to compete with them, then maybe this is an issue. But I don't know. It's not a monopoly in the sense that like.
It's not a monopoly in any sense. Even like on the face value, they only have like in their own demographic of businesses, they only have like 34% of the market share.
Right. That doesn't seem like a monopoly in the same way public schools are a monopoly. You know, it's.
No.
I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't resonate as a true monopoly. It just seems like they just have a lot, and we don't like that you have all these things. You know,
or is it that we don't understand that they're all one company and that Facebook and Twitter really are all owned by the same people? We just don't know those people.
And that's how it would be restructured anyway. Like it would just be a
move on paper.
Yeah, it would, because you're still going to find the same, players in there that you're going to put them down as the head of the company, and they're all going to be pals anyway. And it's like, so what's the difference between cronyism and a monopoly? I mean, or whatever this is, large market share. Breaking up the market share with your crony buddies is not really breaking up market share, Well,
let this be the reminder, everyone, that Alphabet is the company that owns Google, and a shit ton of other stuff.
They do own all of it.
And I don't want to have to point this out, but I mean, CIA, DEA, FBI, a whole lot of alphabet soup organizations. Don't want to draw strings. I don't want to draw strings here that say maybe, it's a hide in plain sight sort of situation.
Hidden in plain sight. Is that a 9/11? One of those 9/11 documentaries?
Is that like a big troll? Just the feds own Google just outright, and they call it Alphabet to like poke fun at everyone. Stupid motherfuckers, and they don't even get it. They don't even see it.
It was ABC.
Speaking of hidden in plain sight, that's what these flat earthers. That's like their main like tagline, and so this guy, he like completely serious. He added me on Facebook. I'm so happy.
That was the 9/11 tagline though, like hidden in plain with like a plane.
Right? Well, it might have been. But this is what I've been seeing.
Was. There's definitely a YouTube video from like 2003.
Right. Well, this new guy added me. He's a flat earther. I'm so happy he did. His last tweet that like his post he made. It was a picture of like just a library, and on top of it said fiction, and on top of it the fiction shelf, it was a globe and a rocket ship, and he circled it and said hidden in plain sight, it's all fiction. he's in the comment section telling people, he's like, oh, you bunch of ballers. He's like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of he calls people who believe in the globe ballers, and I think that's just the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Like the whole thing kind of caught attention when a professional basketball player was like actually into it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I love it. I love flat earthers so much.
We're getting called out in the comments because none of us have Liberty spikes or mohawks.
What?
Oh, I mean, I can see how much I can. Like, my hair might be greasy enough to get it. Like,
I'm bald.
Phil doesn't have an option.
Wait.
I'm kind of a.
Does a devil lock count?
Oh, that looks cool.
That's all right.
You can do a devil lock.
There we go. All right.
Who is?
Who? I don't want
I'm
to call
trying to find this person, and it sucks. It sucks having to do this fucking podcast on my goddamn phone.
her name. Her name is Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Yeah. Do you know Jennifer?
No, I don't. Well, hello, Jennifer. I'm trying to find your comment, but I can't find it. Son of a bitch. All right. Anyway.
Anyways.
All right. Well, sorry, I don't have Liberty Spikes. Sorry, I'm not 12 and I don't do that. But I like your double lock, though. I'm really digging that.
Yeah. Greasy ass hair.
It's like a very Texas is the reason.
You say greasy ass hair?
I'm fucking Dago. Of course I have greasy ass hair. I washed it today. Still does this shit.
It just the grease is ingrained in it.
Fucking...
That's funny.
That's a Texas job right there, dude.
All right, Phil, what else we got? We got
all right.
There was one thing that I was looking at on your list. Yeah, what happened with this Proud Boy march?
So yesterday there was just a rally, a Trump rally in DC, and just showing support for the president. I don't know, whatever. They showed up, a bunch of people, and then I guess the contingent of Proud Boys was also supposed to be there, and they showed up about a few hundred deep, and apparently they went on. If you listen to the Washington Post and the New York Times, they went on just like a huge riot down the street, ripping apart signs from churches, Black Lives Matter signs, and burning them, and stabbing people and stuff like that. But it's very much overblown, as we were talking about before. The Proud Boys are dumb. It's just a dumb thing to be. It's just so dumb. But you can't. I find myself sympathizing for people that are just being chastised as demons, when literally there was widespread rioting over the summer that was being praised by left-wing media, corporate media. So I haven't
point out they didn't have a knife and stab somebody. The knife came out first. Yeah, there goes one of the Proud Boys was stabbed.
Oh,
and like Ford Fisher has the video like of the event, like where the Proud Boy went to like defend himself against the dude with a fucking knife in his face mask, and then got stabbed.
Oh.
And then everyone's like laughing at the Proud Boy for dumb shit got knifed in the gut.
Well, it's one of the articles, the misleading headlines, as I said, because on the headlines it says Proud Boys burned stuff and 2 people were stabbed, several other people were hurt.
Well, that's what they do,
sound
right?
like the Proud Boys. It makes it sound like the Proud Boys.
That's what they do. They'll say, yeah, because I mean it's not lying, right? I mean 2 people were stabbed, but the way they wrap it all up into the headline, it sounds like a Proud Boy did it.
Like you're being factual, not truthful, as I think Michael Malice says.
Yes.
I mean, if that's even true.
Yeah.
Hard to pull off.
That's like the most generous reading.
Right. Exactly. It's just another thing. It's like they're setting up for more of this right-wing styled violence, and it's almost like they're setting it up for something later down the road when it comes to some type of new gun law. It's just like they're setting the ground narrative for it. You always see this happen.
I think you're thinking it too deep. They've just literally made it where you, as a right winger, you can't defend yourself. Think of any instance of it. You no matter what you do, if you show up and you're on the right, you're defending businesses, you're a lunatic. You're just out there marching, same as the Black Lives Matter did. You're a lunatic. You're the bad guy. No matter what you do. If you do anything to defend yourself, anything.
Let's see what happens with Kyle Rittenhouse, though.
Right.
That'll be kind of a bellwether, right? That'll be
here's a bellwether. There are Proud Boys that had bottles of Molotov cocktail thrown at them, and they're doing 4 years' time for defending themselves against people throwing projectile weapons at them. I guarantee you.
Was there video of it though?
Yes, it was on video. That's the point. It's already been set. What is it? You have that guy defended himself out in Portland, and then they spent 3 days talking up the guy who killed him while he was defending himself. The die has been cast in this. Like, we don't need any more evidence of what's going to happen. I personally don't like all of the Proud Boys stand because they're still statists, but it's hard to ignore the fact that like you've been neutered as a part of the population. Like, you're not able to do anything to stick up for yourself. And it's real hard to watch that. I don't want anyone to have to not be able to stand up for themselves. Personally, let them kill each other, and then we'll have all the status dead, and we can take over after the fact.
Right? Just lie there and waiting. Like vultures just poking at it.
Look, communist status, it's all the same thing. If you let them kill themselves, eventually the land will be there to be homesteaded.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's.
Please give the left California. You know what's going to happen? 3 months later, we can all move back to California when they're all dead of starvation.
Well, you see what happened with Black Lives Matter. Spike Cohen made a post about this where they said they made a post from the Black Lives Matter official page. It said, black people defeated Trump. And then it says the next post they have. It said 32. It says 32 days, and the president-elect has still not reached out to talk to us or answer our request. And it's just like, well, what did you expect when you
you're useful
elect a cop? Like, you're fucking morons. And so there is that left on left attitude.
Well, and you're gonna exactly, and you're gonna see they were like you're saying they were useful tools for the establishment. I mean, you're gonna start seeing headlines that actually turn on Antifa and start calling them out for being they turned into a terrorist organization now, blah blah blah.
I think that's what they're setting up. When I told you guys about this, they're setting something up. They're going to enact laws, right? And they're going to have the focus be like, we're trying to get rid of this right-wing violent Proud Boys, this new neo KKK, and at the same time, these laws are also going to fuck over Antifa, and it's just going to be like,
no. I see something like that. You, man. You can think that all you want. The Antifa is already listed as an organization by the FBI. Like, they are a terrorist organization. They don't do shit. I've been following the Proud Boys for probably a solid 2 years now, since they came on my radar, and they've been classified as a white supremacist organization since day one, even though half their membership is gay or black, Hispanic, whatever the hell they are. Like, they're not. They are a Western chauvinist organization. They believe that the West is the best. That is literally what they are. And people have done everything, much like they did with the Book Boys, try and paint them as something that they're not, because most people don't fucking pay attention. Nobody goes back and does the history on it. They have every tool at their disposal to go after Antifa. They're not doing it. They've had 2 years, I think, that Antifa has been a terrorist organization. They haven't done shit. They're not ever going to, because
I don't think the government, I don't think the FBI gives a shit about Antifa. I'm talking more about the media. I'm talking the media, them being media darlings. That's going to end real soon.
I don't see that happening either.
I don't know. I see a scenario. I think the status quo is probably going to maintain, but I do see a scenario where if they do enact all these laws, it'll end up fucking Antifa over, and then they're going to be one bitching and crying because it was supposed to just fight the fascists, and now it's not, and whatever. But I still see that this it's still a huge problem. Antifa is a huge problem that they just gloss over and they pretend like it doesn't exist, and that's the corporate media just.
Is it a huge problem though?
I think it is. Anytime someone shows up to demonstrate that's right of center, they're there and they outnumber and they show up, and it turns into a violent fight, a violent confrontation. And 9 times out of 10, it's always Antifa that starts stuff. And they'll say, "What? I just threw a milkshake," or "What?
Maybe people should stop just marching around with fucking signs and actually do real shit." Maybe it's just time to stop. I'm not marching on Washington.
It's just become the after school fight grounds. It's like meet me on Main Street and in Milwaukee or some shit. And it's like,
you know what?
And everybody's just standing around with their phones, videotaping a fucking after school fight.
Right.
It's still more entertaining to watch than sports with nobody in the stands.
I don't know. I don't know. It is. I don't know.
I'm actually liking the NFL a lot this year.
Why? Because they brought in the fucking water boy, because everybody has exhibited some sort of.
Well, that does kind of that was kind of entertaining. Yeah, when they had
12 string. They had
a wide receiver playing quarterback for the Broncos. He was a practice squad wide receiver.
Right. Oh, but get this. This is off of this is still sports ball, but the Cleveland Indians just announced they're retiring their name.
Oh boy.
My brother just texted me as we
What about the Damn, what about the well, I guess Chiefs is okay, right? What about the Braves?
What about the Redskins?
Well,
the
that's
Redskins already
in there.
changed.
They will all be changed. They'll all be changed eventually.
Yeah. Well,
The
Redskins.
Fighting
So
Irish.
Well, see,
that's
with
fine.
the Indians,
No
they
one
should
cares
have
about
just
Irish.
the Indians. They should have just made them like actual Indians, like like Panjit. Like it should have been like actual Indians.
They're
That would've
all-
been-
Even that's offensive.
That's not. I mean, they're Indians. I love Indians. I work with Indians. They're great.
Some
I
of
bet
your
I work
best
with
friends
more.
are Indians?
What's that? You gonna work with
Some of
more?
your-
No, I said I bet I work with more.
Uh,
You get the ones.
what do you
that
do,
don't.
Nick?
I work in the coin op industry, so
The
I work
coin
in a
op
lot of I work in a lot of convenience stores,
Okay. Yeah.
air pumps and vacuums and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Various other types of machines I repair. So I've been just a lot of quickie marts.
Nice.
They have very interesting views on America. Just to be clear,
Some of the most racist shit I've ever heard came from Indian people I worked with at Dunkin' Donuts.
well the Arab people I work with tend to be racist.
No, the Indian people are just there.
But you're talking like Arab people that work in like really
Bad areas.
hood neighborhoods in Cleveland.
That is true.
Well, like their entire clientele is people that rob them on the regular.
Well, I mean,
This
you
is
can understand.
Let's just say I would never own a convenience store. Put it that way.
Yeah, me neither. But I just thought that was funny about how the Indians just announced they were retiring their name. So that's already in this whole year. The Washington Redskins changed their name. Now they're just the Washington football team, and now Indians are just a Cleveland baseball team, I guess.
White labeled it Washington
Yeah.
football.
Well, somebody has suggested that he will never change the name, so he's just going to leave it the football team forever.
The football team.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
Because
don't
he
know.
said I'm never changing it. Like
He did. He said that like 2 or 3 years ago or something in the Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington. He straight up said he's like, I will. He said he put it in bold or put it in caps, and I will never change the name. And of course, as soon as FedEx said, "Hey, we're gonna pull our sponsorship from you," he was like, "All right, cool, we'll change the name." And that's it. That's all it took
The
was
football
the
team.
momentum. Yeah, so now it's just Washington football team. They said they're coming out with a new name, but now there's like reports coming out saying that they actually like the name Washington football team. So they
I
might
want them all to
keep
change it. I want them all to just debrand and just become Washington football team versus Dallas football team versus Pittsburgh football team.
Well, I mean, that's normally how, I feel like half the time you refer to a game, it's like, oh, it's Baltimore
Pittsburgh
versus Pittsburgh.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's my fucking
That's
point.
true.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not really, it wouldn't be really,
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're definitely right. So it's harder, but then like when there's
I'm not saying I agree with Nick. I mean, I don't want that to happen, but it's kind of
it's
interesting
like
to think
the
about.
Well, how
Eagles are
about
playing
this?
the football team.
Well, how about
it's just
this?
weird.
Yes.
as we move closer to, where we don't
The
we're not allowed
rapture.
we're not allowed to be in person anywhere anymore. What the hell's the point in a mascot? Because that's just how you kill time between plays at the live event.
That's true.
So
what do you
as
do?
Dude, you know
everything's
what's sad?
more
Seeing like
televised,
mass cheerleaders just like jumping around, with like no one
Passing
watching.
out.
It's like so bad.
Oh man, but not for long, guys, because the vaccine is here. It is here, and it is being injected into old
It is
people,
queer.
and
and they don't
they've
want any
already,
more bears.
and they've already said that you're going to continue to have to wear a mask. The vaccine has no bearings on that. It still might be
Right?
contagious,
Yeah, duh.
which is funny because like there's a
Ew.
99.
3 months?
There's
Why
like
would you
99
want to not wear a mask, Nick? Ew, you fucking
There's like
bigot,
a-
hate monger.
This is the thing that kills me. So like, at best, they said that's like a 95% efficacy, when living has a 98% efficacy.
That's,
Like I
Well,
just,
I mean, not if you
existing.
come into contact with somebody.
No, it does.
So
Yeah,
you're
you
saying
have
if
a
you're
nine-
if you're in a room with someone with COVID, you have a
You-
98%
you
of
as
not
a-
contracting it.
In your daily life, you have a 98.
Well, in your daily life,
Well,
yeah.
that's
If
the
you
point.
if you're not in large gatherings and around people that have
no,
COVID,
no,
yeah.
no. This is just all of the people on the planet.
Yeah,
This
all
is-
the
this is
people. Sure,
aggregate
you're
numbers.
aggregate numbers. Sure, yeah.
Okay, so the vaccine
your
dealing with
risk-
aggregate numbers. It's not dealing with like you being in a room with people with high elevated lists or elevated.
Well, no, I
Causes.
think efficacy is based on another metric. I don't think it's just like efficacy as far as like as compared to just the.
Just for the record, it
It's-
also
it's-
the type of vaccine that it
It's
is.
saying like if you come into contact with COVID, like it'll have a 95% efficacy of preventing you from.
No, that's not what it
contracting
means. Because you actually don't. It doesn't have anything to do with you coming in contact with COVID. it mitigates like symptoms essentially that you would get from.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
So
I mean, that's what they're
you
saying.
actually
Some of
technically
them
still
are only blocking
COVID.
the symptoms. Yeah,
You just
exactly.
don't get sick.
Right. Sure.
But regardless, 95%. So, but I have a 98, 99% chance of not getting it in general, just in life. That's still a lower percentage.
Well, it's a 98.9% of not dying from it, right?
Okay. It's not really seeing the point. If I don't die from it, I don't care.
Well, I mean, there are people that have reported long-term effects from it.
No, they haven't, because they haven't lived long term yet.
Well,
They
okay,
have no
longer,
idea what their effects are
medium
gonna be.
term, medium term effects, I guess. Longer term,
cough's-
long term is in after the virus has left the body.
I have a cough every year from November to April. Every year.
We'll get to come out of your throat, dude.
Man, they just love sucking cocks. What can I say? Jesus.
Wow. We just went there, guys.
Oh, yeah.
But no,
I have a
But
devil lock.
imagine-
It comes with the territory.
So like, so if they start to leverage aspects of your life, against getting, and with this vaccine, so you can't travel by air. Maybe you can't even get a fucking bank account at some point, or you can't. I mean, in the same way that FedEx says, hey, if you don't change your name, Washington football team, we're gonna take away our sponsorship. Can a
Please
business
let
then
them. Let my Bitcoin skyrocket in price. Please let that happen. I'm already going to be excited to see this bump from MasterCard saying that they won't process Pornhub.
right?
Yeah, the question is, how would they even coordinate something like that? I mean, they
What do
would
you mean?
have to have. Well, let's take for example, airlines, right? I mean, what are they going to have? A COVID card that you have to have? I mean, that can easily be forged, right? And then that has to connect to some sort of database.
Well, for right now,
have to
until it's a
maintain-
blockchain thing.
What, until they use the blockchain against us?
Yeah, well, then that's going to happen regardless.
that's
Yeah.
design. That's all technology.
Well, I
You
mean,
just got to have your
blockchain-
competing blockchains.
I mean, I don't know if blockchain. I don't even know if they would need blockchain for that, but yeah, I mean, they would need some database to be able to keep track of who.
They'll start with a
who has
paper
it.
card, but it won't be a paper card long. Same as like we're not going to have paper money much longer.
Right. And that's frightening.
Yeah.
That's-
I mean, but I guess the thing is it's like, even if you say, I don't want to get this vaccine, if aspects, critical aspects of your life are leveraged, then what ends, I mean, the average person, right? Not like maybe the four of us, right? But let's talk about like the average person. You could actually tell somebody right now who has been on unemployment for 8 months, I'll give you and this was discussed. I'll give you another stimulus check if you get the vaccine.
Well, I
And-
don't know your situation, but they can easily just say, "Hey, Nick and Otto, you guys have kids. You get it or we're taking them.
They could, yes,
you're
right.
an
Exactly.
unfit parent if you don't get the vaccine."
Yep.
Exactly. Also that, I'm just wondering how far does this go to get people to do it? Because the problem that we have is that the heightened amount of fear that people have
Goes as far as you let it go.
That's right. I mean, and it's like, if you look at like the, what's called a Trump derangement syndrome of people who are like so never Trump that they literally just voted in the two most dejected, rejected fucking politicians on the Democratic side, right? I mean, Biden's been shot down how many fucking times to become president for things that previous generations would never have tolerated. They're now like, yeah, bring him in. Kamala, nobody couldn't even get one fucking Democratic, nomination and one, one
No,
delegate.
but let's be clear. Not to stand up for Trump or anything here. The Democrats won because they were smart about changing the elections to do something that was going to make it so fucking
Mhm.
easy to vote
Right.
that they could guarantee that everyone in the world would vote, and no one pays attention. So they're all going to vote for.
Right.
Put it this way: the more you know about the politics, the less you're likely you're going to vote for Biden. So the more people you can get who don't know what's going on, the more likelihood you vote Democrat. So they just made voting super easy. So they were going to win. That's how they won. If you take the early voting out, they didn't win. They lost by
Yeah,
landslide.
but I think she's just saying the fact that they've voted in these people that are just complete.
Right.
Well, no, but my
the
point was-
mentality, the
But my point is-
mentality of never Trump is the same mentality that they have towards, this virus, right? I mean, you've got a certain level of derangement toward it where it's just like, it goes beyond that of just, the average precaution. I mean,
It's
I can't.
uninformed. Like it's just simple being uninformed. People think they're informed. What is it? The more you're informed, the less, like the harder you stand up for something, and less likely you are to know what the hell you're talking about.
The Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely foresee them doing something like your kids have to be vaccinated to go to school. I mean, that's going to be the minimum.
That already exists.
Wasn't going to say mine anyways.
Yeah, in many states that already exists.
Right.
Going to school, but then it's like, but then also being able to fly, being able to get a passport. So now you can't you can't get the fuck out of the United States.
Do you really want to go to Europe? Those wrong worse there than
you can go anywhere else but Europe.
You can go, but you can go to several other places that are not.
It takes 3 days to get across the United States in a car. It's not that hard.
No, understood, but it's still a matter of the access to get around the world. I mean, there are places in Europe that are not nearly as bad as the UK or France. I mean, I have friends in Portugal who are just like, it's like nothing happened. Same with Sweden. It's like nothing happened. You
really want to be around Swedish people though? They're all tall and blonde.
Yeah,
they're like the anti-Nick.
Coincidentally enough, some of my favorite punk bands are from up in that neck of the woods.
Of course they are. They're still lost in the forest. Iceland, right? They're just sitting there in the forest, like, play this song. We got nothing else. Maybe we'll hear it.
I'm kind of curious what's up with Iceland throughout all this, because they have weird views anyways. That's where Bjork's from. Any place that can make Bjork happen is something.
Yeah, they got name laws.
Yeah, well, let's take this on to the after hours and we'll talk about it more. I do have a fun quick little story about James Babb that he informed me about today.
Oh,
so this is just exclusive for our Patreon subscribers, so you can hear our after hours podcast, which we record immediately after this. In order to hear that, you can go and sign up for our Patreon and do the $20 level. Do that just because I need more money. Because I need a laptop, everybody.
Yeah, Phil needs.
And guess what? And if you're a poor bitch, there's always the $5 level where you can come hang out with me.
We also have a Bitcoin address you can find on PRLfans.com.
Right.
If
that's a good website.
If you're a cool libertarian person.
Right, and you hate Patreon or don't want to support it at all.
And you hate the Fed.
Right. Which I do.
Which we all do.
But
anyways.
we also have t-shirts for sale over at libertariancountry.com. If you use the code PRL or PRL Podcast, you can get a 10% discount. If you spend over $50 or more, you can get a 20% discount by using the code PRL2. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Conversations About Freedom with Moral Bob. And I guess until next time, live free
or die.